So in those cases, this has to be used. So this is as per ISO. This is the standard 15765. Okay. Hope you are clear
Yes.
with this, right? Right, right. Now we'll go to the dose which you, I mean, as per our last discussion. So dose, there are few documents are there which I'll going to send it to you after this meeting. Okay,
Okay.
fine. So first of all, I'm sharing the PPT screen. Just let me know once it's visible.
Yes, sir. I can see that.
Okay. So generally, okay, in automotive sector, more or less all the people are using those only, which is the standard requirement managing tool. So this is the abbreviation like dynamic object oriented requirement management system. So in generally, so you can use this dose requirement as is many what you call many purposes. Like example, you can use as a requirement capture. Like example, let us say you have the product owner as a requirement manager. So what they will do is they will define the requirements. Where they define the requirements in the dose. That is the first step. Okay. So while
Mhm.
define the requirements, they will maintain some what are the attributes. Like remember what are the example that I'll will come to know in the later discussion. But in general, they'll define the requirements. First thing. Second thing, after what will happen after the requirements are defined, the validation team start with the analysis of requirements, right? Generally, what type of requirements are there and how we're going to validate this. Even to before the start of activities, the validation testing team should understand what the scope of the testing, right? So everything will
Yes.
be monitored through those only. So while the review going to the reviewing part, there'll be a few activities which will be updated in the dose. The like attributes will be there for each requirement. There will be some attributes. The example test requirement can be tested or not. If it is tested, which planning. So everything will be there, and that has to be updated for each individual stakeholders. So requirements will be updated in those. Review also done, and even after that, writing test cases. See, writing test cases. Every project, I mean, every company will have their own set of setups, right? Like few will be maintained in Excel sheet, but the standard is DOS. So even like in the here for requirements will have a different test specification. When I say specification means just like a document, it's like your Word document or a PDF document, something like this. So that will be stored in a DOS. Okay.
Okay.
So for requirement we'll be having one document which we call a specification. So similarly we'll create one more document which is for test specification. Like okay, where we'll write our test cases. Simple.
Sir, you create directly the requirements in the doors, or you import it from Word document into the doors?
That can be a different example. So in general, okay, first thing is there are two activities. You do not combine the requirements defining and your validation team, because validation team will not work on the requirements definition, right?
Yes.
They will
Yes.
only
Yes.
work on the for the
Yes.
validation. So you have to consider two as separate activities. Okay. So coming
I
to
agree.
first requirements definition. So generally, who will define the requirements along with the requirements manager will be there, who will look after for all the as per the process they followed or not. First thing. Second thing, actual product owner, maybe a product owner or a requirement owner or the developer,
Yes.
developer ka chodo, who will work on the implementation. At least
The
what
feature
you
of
can say, product owner. Yes, product owner who will define the requirements. That is the one thing, right? How he will define the requirement generally. See, generally what happens is there will be two things there. So one. There are one set of requirements which will be carried. If, for example, if before you start off your project, so they'll be always called base project on which the current project will be developed. Right? Example, you have a base project some X and Y Z. So you are implementing ABC and I mean XYZ2. So what we'll do is what we are implementing for XYZ will be taken as it is for XYZ2, and on top of that we'll add the new requirements. Right? So this is generally happens when when they consider for base project. So how to define is the all the requirements will be carried on the same forward to document, plus what are the new requirements, how they get the product owners based on the customer requirements. Like example, customer
yes.
expecting might be okay this feature. Like example, let us say your emergency brake at ADAS side emergency breakers has to be implemented, but there are few conditions like speed should be like this or the speed should be minimum of 50 or so there'll be always a change request. We call it a change request or a feature request which are going to implement for the first time. So that will you used to get from customer to your product owners. You are okay. Who has to work on really? So from those
Sir,
document or a PDF, yeah,
sir, if can we give an example, just like maybe like 2 minutes, like how,
yeah.
like example of a user requirement, and then we go into system requirement, then subsystem requirement, then component requirement. just a breakdown, one requirement and how we break it down. Example, just an example. Any requirement.
See, a requirement is okay. Let us say let us take emergency brake assist. Okay, so
Okay.
emergency brake assist. Let us example. It is a customer requirement like okay, emergency brake assisted feature should be enabled when there are some precondition. Example, let us say okay, let us say where the vehicle speed is 60 km/h or if any there is no fault free. I mean, there should be fault free, and the ECU should be in normal state. I mean, object should be detectable. So these are some prerequisite conditions, and you have to validate your EBA functions. Let us say this is an example for validation given by your customer. Okay, so
Mhm.
coming to testing team will have a different set of requirements generally. I mean, it depends on your, of course, organization how they handle it, but in general, there'll be a requirement testing team called software requirement based who purely works on requirement based. And same second thing is integration, software integration. Like example, after integration of your all the checkpoints, what they will do is. And second, the third thing is like SIT, system integration testing. And the fourth to last one, system testing. System testing is who really works on your vehicle directly. Okay,
Sir,
system.
after the software is developed, what is the initial testing?
Mhm.
Is it unit testing?
Okay, I'll tell you. So after software integrated, let example. Okay, first
After
for
software
any
is developed.
check. No, let example. So let us say example all the models are integrated which has changes happen to the every component or any module. They all integrated to the all the change components to the integration and he'll release the software. Okay, so before he releases software in general he will do the basic things, like example working ECUs in a work condition, or that is the basic thing he'll do. But once the checkpoint is released, okay, checkpoint is released, so there'll be a different, like example as I said before, there'll be two types, like a black box testing, white box testing. Okay, so in generally unit testing will be done by your developers only directly in general.
Okay.
Okay, it's
Okay.
a white box testing where you need a code a knowledge and you have to go to some specs and reviews, right? So there
It,
it will done by your sorry.
unit testing is called white black box testing.
It's under white box testing or unit testing where you need to
White.
go to the coding. Yes. Okay. So this will be done by after release only. But before that, even integration or a requirement test you have to do for smoke testing. Smoke testing is nothing but the basic checks that has to be done by your testing team. Like example, maybe software integration, or example in our old organization, we have a team of requirement based testing and vehicle testing. So they both together do the basic smoke testing. Example, so whether the basic communication is working fine or not, are we able to communicate to DC, or yeah, whether we have any software resets happening in the current checkpoint, are the basic fine. Like example, EBA and ACC. If it comes to radar, whether the radar is able to detect the objects. Basic things
Hmm.
are all the radar able to detect the objects. This will be validated on the basic checks. That which is called is it's all about under smoke testing. Okay,
Hmm.
smoke testing just like a where we do all the basic functional check to ensure that the software is enough mature to go further for full testing. Clear. So the
Okay.
smoke testing but by done by every team. Like example, maybe vehicle level they'll do some basic testing, software requirement they do basic testing, integration also they'll do testing. So while we generating, what we'll do is when the software release, what the practice we used to do in the organization, like we'll share the smoke test results across all the stakeholders to ensure
Mhm.
that okay, the software has is working, it's up to the basic test check, it is working, so you can proceed with the for further full validation. Okay, so this can be done by your testing team. So coming to unit testing, yes, it will be done by your development team and integration team also. Kind of white box, they will go to the code. Coming to black box testing, like system testing, user acceptance, and what is that? And under black box also we have many things: functional, non-functional. If it is a functional, unit testing, integration testing, system testing, accepted. This is a part of your functional testing. When it comes to non-functional, it's all about endurance, the reliability, like performance testing, usability. Those part of non-functional testing. So, in general, when we software releases, so we will try to meet all the customer expectations, maybe function or non-functional or vehicle level.
Sir,
So, what are the
sir,
teams I mentioned, right? SIT
sir,
also. Everyone do their own testing according to our requirements. This
sir,
classification,
sir,
yeah,
one
please.
question. Because you mentioned smoke testing is a basic initial testing. After the smoke testing is
Yes.
done, then the results are sent across all the team members, and then the software developers will start doing the initial unit testing.
I mean, not only developers, even testing team also will proceed further full validation. Yes, everyone.
Okay, because I'm trying to see what is the order of the testing, which will give me a good idea. So I put
Okay,
smoke
so
testing
if
first.
you ask me the order, it depends on your organization generally. But I when I based on my experience, what I'm telling you, the unit testing and what you call requirement based testing, software integration testing, everyone start with parallel. When the software
Okay.
release and smoke test results are confirmed positive, they will do parallelly. Coming to vehicle level testing, the vehicle level testing they'll start bit later because based on the software maturity, they'll start later. Second thing, third thing, there'll be design verification, design validation will be done. So that is the last point. How what is the hardware design or something. So design validation will be done in the last as a last activity. Like this will happen.
Okay.
But of course, as I said, it depends on the project and the organization also. So there are
Yeah.
I see instances like they'll do everything just parallelly, and there are some instances like say, vehicle testing, system testing will happen only after this so-called requirement testing, integration testing also they'll start. Okay, and there'll be also called algo testing, which I said software testing. So algorithm level also testing will be done. So even they do a bit late. I mean, after all this software unit testing, they will do bit because algo testing how they work is algo testing or software how they work is they will take the recording. I mean, in general, I'm confined to one of the experience which I had earlier. Well, they will take the vehicle recording and start based on the recording which they produced by our vehicle testing. They will take it as an input and they will start to algorithm testing. So like this, there will be many things are there in the testing. When you see the vehicle, only the few things will be mentioned. System testing, acting. But when you go under, it will be many scatter. Like as I said before, software integration, algo testing, design verification testing, and system testing, SID testing. Okay, so it depends on your organization and generally. So the basic as a software integration, SRT, unit testing will do parallelly, and followed by design validation, system testing. This is how it happens. But in general, it doesn't matter to as a testing team doesn't matter. Whatever you ask by your team or a project manager, you are supposed to do that. Simple.
Okay, sir. So we
Clear?
can come to, yeah. Slide there.
Fine, fine.
That's okay.
Yeah. So coming to those where I am. Yeah. So okay, we are at test specification, right? Right. So we
Yeah.
can define the test specification. Like example, like we have a requirement specification. We also have can it also create test specification. So in general, what happens, Vijay? So example, we started with a project. Example, some XYZ project we started. Okay. So we'll
Mhm.
create one test specification. Example, one document will create, and the attributes and okay, how I can explain example. You can create the document on in that you can create multiple view sets. View sets means an example you started the project now. So your first checkpoint is example 1.0. By the time you finish off your design development and your software going to SOP, you might reach to 20.0, right?
Mm. Mm.
Okay, so in between, what we will do is in the same specification, we'll try to create a different view set. I mean, the same will be replicated, but a different number. Example, first it will create a 1.0 example. That I'll show you later point, but I'm telling you, different view
Okay.
sets will be created on based on the different software which are going to test it. Which means that document will remain the same, but a different view set, different versions will be created. Simple, different versions will be created.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
so that
Yeah.
we use for what is called test. That is how we maintain it because the document will has to remain entire the project life cycle. Only the different views will be created. So, example, when you wanted to see, okay, what happened to that fifth release of your checkpoint, what were the results? So you can change the view set. Yes, you can. You change the view set. You can see, okay, what was the result for the specific release and the specific test case. You can have a history of everything when you create
Okay.
the different view sets.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, this is all about test case. Next thing is results update. Okay, results update example, as I said, example test case we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. So for each test case, you will be creating different attributes. Attributes, right? Just column adjacent to that. Okay.
Yes. Mm.
So example test case, what is the test case? Pass, fail. So
Sir,
that also you can do it.
what could be the examples
Sorry.
of the attributes?
Okay, that I'll tell you. So you can see this, right? So you can see this. Okay. So what I was trying to say is, you can see this ID. This is called one of the attribute. Completed date, one attribute. So similarly, we'll have a test results attribute, which means what are the test results of the particular test case, like that. Attribute
Mm.
something in one column. You can make it as a column. Okay,
Okay.
fine, right. Okay, so as I said, results also you can update. So apart from that, you will also have the this type of what is called benefits. Okay, so what are those benefits? Let me go to that. So of course, requirement management example. So what are the requirements to define your customer and what are the defined example? So customer system level requirements will be L2 level. We call it L2, L3, L1, L1 level, right? So what are the
Mm-hmm.
requirements defined by customer and how many requirements are get passed? So everything we can keep a track of everything in the DOS only. As I said, with the based on the attributes which you have, so you can see how many requirements get passed, how many requirements fail. Everything will be managed. Okay. So I said views to show the relevant data of each type of user role. Views means different view sets will be created based on your requirement to keep a track of every software execution data record. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So gap analysis, example. Now, okay, there is also one of the major advantages. Example, you have, as I said, right? Requirement will have a different specification, and test case also will have a different specification, right? So, example, what they will always, as a tested, what you are to ensure, 100% requirements coverage the main agenda. It should be a main agenda for any tester. Okay, so with that, what we will be doing is every test case which is derived from the requirement has to be linked. I mean, has to be mapped. Okay, example, requirement test case should have a proper link. So, example, when you go test case, if you wanted to say, okay, those are these are test case, right? From which requirement is as derived? Yes, you can have a link that I'll tell you how you can link that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that will be there. So that we also got traceability, like traceability between requirement test case and vice versa. You can also see how many requirements got have the test cases, how many requirements test cases are missing. So everything you can keep a track of on that. Okay, so this is called like a traceability, linking traceability. This is what I mean between test case and your requirement.
So you're going
Clear?
to show this how to link and how to traceability and all later?
See that I can show you in the video only because this is a personal laptop, right? We cannot have that is a tool which cannot have a personal
Okay.
laptop, right?
Yeah, yeah, makes sense.
You have the DOS install your PC or
Mhm.
anything? I think that is not possible at all because it's a costly thing,
No, I
right?
don't have.
Yeah. But I can show you how we can be through videos. I can forward you after this, so you can go to that. Okay,
I was
fine.
going through some videos, but
Hmm.
everyone they're importing Word document into doors, and then they're adding rows to create new objects. But
Yeah, that
if
can
they
also possible. See, as I said, results, right? So even that is also possible. There is that is what the beauty of the DOS. Even that is something you can update in the Excel sheet, and that can directly import to the DOS. So where it can be it'll be created as if like you're done in the directly in DOS. You can create
yeah,
that also. Okay,
okay.
but to manage what I feel it is instead of working from Excel sheet anyhow every can do that, right? So if you work on directly in the DOS, that'd be really good. You'll get more
Yeah.
knowledge towards the DOS.
So like
Correct.
if you are creating a new object into the doors,
Hmm.
like freshly there is no Word document, there is no Excel document. You
Hmm.
were told to create requirements directly into the doors. So do you remember
Hmm.
at high level steps like file
That
new?
I'll show you. Not to worry.
Okay,
That
okay,
have the videos also with the videos I can explain you. Okay.
okay, okay.
Fine. Okay. So next is DXL scripting. So what is DXL scripting automation is
Sir,
example.
in this document, you said the traceability analysis to help identify areas of risk.
Hmm.
What does that mean? How does
Okay.
that traceability help in analysis of risks?
Okay. So while define the requirements, okay, risk means example. Okay, so I have to deviate from the topic and I'll explain you that. So here the risk means simple. So requirements can be okay. So while define the requirements, so requirement will be each will requirement will have its own set of priority. Like example, maybe high priority, whether low priority or medium priority. So the priority of the test case will be defined while define the requirements in those. One thing. Second thing is, do you know ASIL? Do you know ISO 262? Any idea?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So example, there are a few. Each equipment also will have its own set of ASIL assessment. Like example, whether defined to QM or ASIL A, ASIL B, ASIL D, ASIL. Okay. So while defining your requirements, we'll try to understand what are the ASIL level of requirements are there. So as a tester, you always need to concentrate on priority level. So when you have when you have the term for priority, so always look at the priority of ASIL level requirements, right?
Oh, okay.
Because ASIL D being the highest, ASIL being the lowest, you always to take the Even if you go for regression testing, where the only checking the only the part of the your test cases, that ASIL level requirements has to be taken into consideration for each testing, because those are the functional safety related. Then that should be get passed. That should be validated in each checkpoint, in each software release, because those are categories of ASIL level. Okay, so even for performing the ASIL level, there will be might be few risks. Example, I'll tell you one of the risks which I came across recently. So there is one is a requirement that you have to you have to update your software to the ECU around 25 times. Okay,
Okay.
example 25 times. But in generally, what happens in practical is after flashing 21st time, the sensor ECU will get crashed.